My abusive mother-in-law reappeared after 15 years and put my newborn in the emergency room. I am still in shock after finding out that someone in my own family has been trying to sabotage my newborn's health for months. My wife and I have been together for 5 years, and a year ago we started trying for our first baby. We were so excited to start our new family together because we both came from broken households and we wanted to be better than our parents. Both of us were no contact with our parents, and before all this, it felt like all we had was each other. I had heard so many stories from my wife about how her mom never let her get vaccinated and would pull her hair to punish her even as a little girl. So I was shocked after we got pregnant and my wife started telling me that she wanted to reconnect with her mom. They hadn't spoken in almost 15 years and I was terrified about what kind of person she was letting back into our lives. I didn't want to make it a big issue and stress out my wife while she carried our child. But when I married her, I never expected to deal with her abusive family. I know I probably should have put my foot down when my wife asked if her mom could come stay with us after she had the baby. I told her that I wasn't comfortable with that and I wanted it to just be us two, especially at first. We ended up compromising and agreed that her mom would move in when our baby had turned 6 months. I'll never forget the day that I met my mother-in-law for the first time. When I looked into her eyes, it felt like there was nothing looking back. She had some retail job and spoke normally and was fairly polite, but there was just something so off-putting about the way she related to us. She almost spoke like an alien trying to act like a human. And I felt like she treated my daughter more like a little doll than a real-life baby. It's hard to explain, but I couldn't put my finger on it and I had no idea how to talk to my wife about my concerns, especially now that her mom had fully moved in. After only a week of her mom living with us, our baby started to experience sudden health problems. She had always slept through the night, but now she was waking up with this raspy cough and crying for hours and hours on end. We called her doctor and he said it was normal, but after this giant yellow rash broke out across half of her face one night, we rushed her to the hospital. It was the middle of the night and the doctor barely looked at her for more than a minute before saying that it must be a reaction to some sort of detergent. I wanted to grab the doctor and tell him to take a better look, but my wife seemed satisfied and just wanted to get out of the emergency room with our newborn. After we got the baby to sleep that night, we had our very first fight about her mom. I told her how I thought it was suspicious that our daughter was getting sick out of nowhere after her mom had moved in, and my wife was pissed that I would accuse her mom of trying to hurt our kid. I tried telling her that it was the only thing that made sense and that we at least needed to question her and ask if she was doing anything to our baby that we didn't approve of. But my wife was hearing none of it and literally slammed the bathroom door in my face when I tried to continue the conversation. I just walked over to my crying daughter and rocked her as I cried my own angry tears. It was only 2 days after that we were woken up in the middle of the night by my daughter's choked cries. I will be hearing that sound echoing until the day I die. It was the most terrifying noise I had ever heard. We woke up to it sounded like wet gargling coming from my baby's crib and rushed over to find her having a full-on seizure. Seeing her little body convulsing like that almost broke my sanity right there and then, but we managed to rush her to the hospital. And this time I demanded the doctors run every test possible on her. Well, the staff actually listened to me this time, and a couple of hours later my daughter was stable and a new doctor was reading us the results of the tests. The doctor paused reading after a moment and gave us this suspicious look. That's when the doctor asked us if we had been using any type of essential oils on our baby. My wife and I immediately responded no, and then I looked at each other as we both slowly realized what had been going on. You see, the only thing my mother-in-law had told us about her retail job was that she sold essential oils.